So today we're going to be doing problems that talk about consecutive integers. Well, I'll tell you, integers just means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or -1, -2, -3, 0. So they're whole numbers, positive, negative numbers, and 0. What about the word consecutive? What does the word consecutive mean? She got zeros on 3 consecutive days. What is the word consecutive? In order, right? So consecutive days would be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. What about if I want consecutive numbers? Give me some consecutive numbers. 1, 2, 3. Give me some consecutive numbers. Mullins. Jada. 5, 6, 7. Give me some consecutive numbers, Lily. 8, 9, 10. You got the idea, I think, right? Consecutive integers are just numbers that come one right after another. Like 1, 2, 3, 4. Like 8, 9, 10. So today we're going to be doing problems that say, find 3 consecutive integers. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to say this like a million times this year. What class is this again? Algebra. So if we're going to solve a problem in algebra class, guess what we're going to have to use to solve it? Algebra. You know what that means? Guess and check. We're not going to use. If you want to get credit for doing a problem in algebra class, then what do you have to use to solve that problem? Algebra. Not guess and check. Algebra. So yes, I do realize that you probably could solve these with guess and check, but you won't get credit in algebra class unless you use algebra. Got it? Everybody heard me say that? Everybody heard me say that? Everybody heard me say that? You have to use algebra. So we're going to do problems that say, find 3 consecutive integers. Find 4 consecutive integers. And the way that we're going to represent them, you can pick whatever letter you want. Let's let the first one be n, because it's a number. You can use x, you can use whatever you want. How do I get from 1 to 2? What do you have to add to get from 1 to 2? 1. You only add one number, right? So if I let the first one be n, the next one is n plus 1. How do I get from the first to the third? What do you have to add to 1 to get 3? What do you have to add to 1 to get 4? So when you're asked to write a consecutive integer problem, you always let the first one be n. The next one is that number plus 1. The next integer is that number n plus 2. 1 plus 2 is 3. The next one, 1 plus 4. What if they asked you to find another one? How would you represent it? N plus?
4.
Right. How about these? If I let this one be n, what do I add? So n plus 1. 8 plus what is 10? See that? And if you don't want to see that, then just remember, oh, that's n plus 1, n plus 2, n plus 3. So we're going to do problems like, oh, let's just say the sum of 3 consecutive integers is 66. The sum of how many consecutive integers?
3.
How many consecutive integers? 3. And how shall we represent them? N plus 1, n plus 2. There they are. You need to write those down on your paper when you do these. N plus 1, n plus 2. There they are. Now, what about those 3 consecutive integers? Oh boy, sum. What does sum mean? Say it.
Answer.
2. It's an answer to what?
Equation.
What kind of equation?
Algebra equation.
Say it louder. Addition. It's an answer to addition. Sum means to add them, doesn't it? So I'm going to add those 3 consecutive integers. I'm going to add those 3 consecutive integers, and the sum, what does the word is mean in math usually? Equals. The sum equals 66. What are those 3 integers? Oh, we already wrote them down. What are they? N plus 1, n plus 2. Guess what goes in these spots? N plus 1, n plus 2. I'm adding up my 3 integers, and the sum is 66. Now, how are we going to find those integers? You're going to use your algebra. See all those n's? See all those n's? See all those n's? How many n's do you have? Right, good, yes. What else do I have? A number and another number over there. What's 1 plus 2? Oh, good, that's 3. Now what? Oh, these people have no clue because Mrs. May didn't move it, so now they can't see a darn thing. Can you see it now? I think they're sleeping. Now what? Now what? If we're going to solve this for n, get rid of the 3. Correct. Right, good. You got to get rid of another 3. And what do you end up with? Done? Did you find 3 consecutive integers? Did you find 3 consecutive integers? That's probably not better. I'm going to make them all seasick, I think. Did you find 3 consecutive integers? No, we found 1. The first number is 21. The first number here is 21. What's 21 plus 1? N is 21. Remember, N is 21. Plug it in here. What's 21 plus 2? Now I have 3 consecutive integers. Now I have 3 consecutive integers. And if you add those up, what do they add up to? Add these up. They add up to 66. And am I aware that you could probably do a little bit of, get out your calculator and let's see, I think it's going to be this, and Adam, you can do that. But remember, what class is this?
Algebra.
Algebra. And if you want credit in algebra class, what are you going to use to solve the problem? Say it all together.
Algebra.
Oh, thank you. I don't think that was all together, though. I only heard you. The rest were pretty darn quiet. Does that make sense? Do you have questions so far? Cool. Now we'll see who gets it. Now I'm going to need you to focus. I'm going to need you to focus. Focus. I think I probably shouldn't do that anymore. I'm going to scare them away. Can you see consecutive even and consecutive odd up there? I can't see on my screen. Can you see that where it says consecutive odd? There's something under there. No. Am I going the wrong way? Right here? What the fuck? Oh yeah, right there. Okay, right there. Right there? There it says consecutive, even and consecutive odd. Now can you see it? Yes? Now can you see it? Yes? Consecutive, even, and consecutive odd. So if we said consecutive integers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10, 21, 22, 23, what about consecutive even integers? Can you give me some consecutive even integers? Yeah. She says 2, 4, 6, 8. Those are consecutive evens, one right after another. Consecutive evens. And this part makes sense coming up. If I represent the first one as n, What do I have to add 2 to get 4? 2. So the next one I'm going to represent as n plus 2. What do you have to add 2 to get 6? 2 plus what is 6? 4. 2 plus what is 8? And so on. So if it's a problem that says find 3 consecutive even integers, now you'll use n plus 2, n plus 4 for consecutive evens. That one makes sense to me. Does that make sense to you? n plus 2, n plus 4, n plus 6. The only thing is, you got to remember you start with n. People always want to start with n plus 2. No, start with n, and then it's n plus 2 and n plus 4, and so on from there. That part makes sense. But sometimes it's the consecutive odds that confuse people a little bit. First of all, give me some consecutive odd numbers.
1, 3, 5, 7.
Okay, everybody agree? 1, 3, 5, 7. Those are consecutive odds. Those are consecutive odds. And always, like all of these, we're going to start, the first one is going to be n. Here's the part that gets a little bit confusing. What do you have to add to 1 to get 3? How many do you add? 2. So my next one is n plus 2. What do you add to 1 to get a 5? What do you add to 1 to get 7? So it's n plus 2, n plus 4, n plus 6 again. In a way, it's easier because these two are both the same. n plus 2, n plus 4. But people always think, oh, consecutive odds, that's 1, 3, 5, 7. But it's n plus 2, n plus 4, n plus 6 again. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So let's do one of those. Let's do one of those. Let's do one of those. We'll put this over here. And we will move you guys. Hold on, you're going to get seasick. Hold on to your chair. Here we go. I think you can see. All right. So I want you to find three odd whose sum is, how about 147? First of all, read it carefully. 3 consecutive odd integers. How are we going to write 3 consecutive odd integers? How are we going to represent those? n plus 2, n plus 4. I want you, when you do these problems, to write that down. n plus 2, n plus 4. And in the beginning, when you come up to me for help and you don't write down and you don't do what I say, I'll say, oh, did you write down n plus 2, n plus 4? In the beginning, I'll say it nicely and remind because we're still learning. Later on, if you don't write it down like I tell you to, I'm not going to help you. Because I've been doing this for a long time. I know, despite the fact that I only look 29 years old, I've been doing this for 32 years. So I sort of know what works by now. And I sort of know the people that don't do it the way I say are going to make mistakes. And the people that skip steps are going to end up taking longer in the end because they skip steps and they can't find their mistake back. So I'll be nice in the beginning and say, oh, don't forget to write it down. What are the 3 consecutive odds? N plus 2, n plus 4. We'll put a box around it for now. What about those 3 consecutive integers? Sum is 147. Again, what does sum mean? Right, good. Sum means add. So we're going to add up those consecutive integers. I like to make 3 lines so I know I'm adding the right ones. There is a sum is 147. The sum of what? The sum of my 3 consecutive odds that I wrote down. The first one is n plus 2, n plus 4. There's the sum of the 3 consecutive odds. Now work it out. First, put all the n's together. I've got 1, 2, 3 n's. And what else do I have? 2 and 4. 6. So 3n plus 6 equals 147. What will I do to solve that?
Cancel 6.
Right. Get rid of the 6. And so now I have 3n equals 141. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Does that come up to be a whole number? 47? Does that come out to be 47? Does it? Help me. Yes? She says yes. Yes? Yes? We'll just go with it then. 47. Now, I'm supposed to find 3 consecutive odds. I only have 1. How do I get the rest? N, I found n is 47. Plug it in here. What's 47 plus 2? And my n is 47. What's 47 plus 4? And if I add those up, if I add up my 3 consecutive odd integers, it better equal 147. Does it? Oh, good. Anybody with questions? Sort of makes sense? One thing I wanted to point out, we are finding integers. Those are like whole numbers. 5, 6, 7, -1, -2, -3. If you work it out and you get to this point and you get 47.2, is 47.2 an integer? No. If you get 47.2, that means you made a mistake somewhere. So you might have to come see me. Do you have any questions? Are there any questions? Anybody there have a question? Anybody there have a question? Anybody? So I am on page 77, and I would like you to do these. Page 77. I think they are written. 1 through 6 and 9. Yeah. 1 through 6 and 9. 1 through 6 and 9. We heard algebra. Nobody with questions? Anybody with questions?